This is Today in St. Louis, focused on you.
And right now you're focused on a live look at Tel Aviv skyline in Israel, where just this morning Iran concluded a retaliatory attack against the nation. Right now United Airlines is canceling flights to the region. Thanks so much for waking up with us this morning. I'm Travis Cummings.
And I'm Mercedes McKay. Now, both Israeli and U.S. intelligence have been anticipating this attack for about a week now. It comes after an Israeli airstrike destroyed Iran's consulate just earlier this month. Officials say early this morning, more than 300 Iranian drones and missiles targeted at least 7 different cities throughout Israel. We have them laid out for you right here on this map behind me. But with the help of U.S. forces, the IDF says it was able to intercept nearly all of them.
Out of more than 120 ballistic missiles, a number of individual missiles penetrated the country's territory, and the rest were intercepted.
The missiles which struck Israeli territory caused minor damage to an airbase and left it fully operational. Crews on the ground also report a 7-year-old girl in southern Israel was severely wounded in an apparent missile strike.
And President Joe Biden issued a statement following the attack, reaffirming his, quote, ironclad commitment to Israel. He says later today he'll meet with other G7 leaders to coordinate a diplomatic response. Iran also issued a statement following those attacks. Here's what they had to say. In a post to social media platform X, Iran's claimed responsibility for the attack. It also stated it considers the conflict to be concluded, adding that further retaliation from Israel and its allies will be met with a severe response. This morning, Israel's former prime minister is speaking out, telling his country to show some restraint.
Now, what we need is think before action, and adapt certain kind of strategic patience.
Last night's attacks went on for about 5 hours. We can expect to learn more throughout the day as crews in Israel work to assess that damage.
And 5 on your side will continue to bring you the latest developments out of the Middle East, even when we're off the air. You can always find updates on KSTK.com and the 5+ app.
And right now, we're going to take a live look at your forecast this morning. Meteorologist Jim Castillo is here with us today. Jim, thanks so much for joining, guys.
Thank you for waking up early.
This is the first.
Good to see you both, and thanks for taking us through all that very heavy news this morning. I mean, great job on that.
But something to brighten us up right now.
Yeah, you're going to love this weather forecast. So, we don't see numbers like this until June, so
crazy.
Enjoy this. It is summer-like for sure. In fact, by the middle of the end of June, 87 is the average high, and that's what we're expecting today. Wanted to bring up this. I sneezed very loudly earlier. Did you hear? So we have a lot of pollen out there, so let's check that out. Trees are high. Mulberry is the biggest offender there. Weeds are showing up now, and also mold is on the low side. So 73 degrees right now. We're already in the 70s. It was a warm start this morning. Some of us cool spots in the 50s, but really a southwest wind at 9 miles an hour, low relative humidity. Just a fantastic day. The wind isn't too bad. Some of the gusts as high as 20 miles an hour, but we're already in the 70s in most areas right now. DeSoto, the warm spot at 78. Highs today, upper 80s around the metro, and then mid 80s south and to the east around Flora, about 82. But it is sunny, and then what we're keeping our eyes on is a warm front tomorrow, an isolated severe weather risk with that, and then a stronger system Tuesday. Much more on this coming up in Maine weather.
All right, Jim, thank you for that first look. Right now, one church in St. Charles is holding its Sunday service online, and that follows a harrowing crash yesterday afternoon.
The video here is pretty incredible. A truck smashed through a wall, severely damaging the chapel. 5 on your side's Annie Krall was the first reporter on the scene and brings us a closer look at the devastating damage.
We were the first news crew on scene just about 30 minutes after the crash happened. As you can see over my shoulder, construction crews now working on filling up the giant hole left behind by seemingly a large pickup truck that was yellow, and police and fire crews trying to work on making sure that building doesn't collapse and not pose a threat to the community. I spoke with Captain Kelly Hunsel with the St. Charles Fire Department as they made sure the building was safe to enter and eventually patch up with wood, for the owner. She told me that the only injury was the driver, who was taken to a local hospital for his injuries. As the investigation continues, though, St. Charles Fire says it looks like the driver was trying to avoid a different potential collision, but then unfortunately ran into the side of the Emerson Unitarian Universalist Chapel. Instead, neighbors in the area were shocked at the scene, and fire crews were just grateful it wasn't worse.
Most people think, accidents only happen when there's inclement weather, icy, rainy, things like that. But we have incidents like this every day of the year. It doesn't matter how nice or bad the weather is.
They came through the parking lot and right into our sanctuary, right over all of our chairs, and crashed into the computer even. I kind of didn't compute right away, like how devastating this really was. The first thing that went through my mind was, well, thank goodness no one it was here at the chapel.
The Emerson Unitarian Universalist Church had an open mic on Friday night with about 15 people, and they tell me they can have anywhere between 20, 30, even 40 people at service on a Sunday morning. They are expecting to have a Zoom online spiritual meeting at 10 in the morning on Sunday. Reporting in St. Charles, Annie Krall, 5 on your side.
Developing this morning, St. Louis police are investigating a shooting that left a man dead inside his car. It happened at the intersection of Page and Sarah. Police say the victim was in his car when he was shot multiple times. He died at the hospital. Right now, the victim has not been identified, and police have not released any suspect information.
Right now, lawmakers in Illinois are working to ban the sale of Delta-8 and other synthetic THC or hemp products. They say it's until those compounds can be studied more. Experts say because there are no regulations on consumer goods with hemp, those products can be made to look like chips and candy and marketed towards children.
They look like Fritos, right? Corn chips. These are the corn chips. And the other contains 600 milligrams of Delta-8. I beg to differ. My daughter wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Ingram, who you just heard from, believes there should be a pause in sales so that a committee of scientists can study the products and make sure they are safe.